What do y'all see some of the keys for the Celtics to win and Pacers possibly winning? What would be the keys for the Pacers to actually win the series?
Pace.
Yeah,
As ironic
pace.
as that is, like they got to push the ball. Like that's where they created a lot of mismatches against the Knicks. Is after a made basket, they're already passing it to half court, and they're now it's a 2-on-1 before you can even set up the defense. So I think the Celtics have a really good defense, but if you're able to get them out of sorts and people guarding the wrong guy, then that's when you can create mismatches. And I think that's the way they have to play. They can't play at whatever pace the Celtics want them to. Like they've got to control it, and I think speeding things up that can make Jalen Brown stumble on his left hand. Or Jason Tatum's taking crazy shots, which he'll make some, but I've seen him go 6 for 26 in games. So uh, Celtics aren't unbeatable. Like they can be beaten by this Pacers team, but things have to go really, really well for them. And is Porzingis going to be back at some point? I doubt it. I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon unless they make the finals. So you're putting a lot of pressure on Al Horford, and Miles Turner's really good. He's a really good shooting big. He can blow by you too, but I don't know who's going to do. Jason Tatum, I guess, is going to D Pascal. I guess. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, when I was looking at the series, if I'm a Celtics fan, this is what I don't want to see in the first 5 minutes. I don't want to see step back three, Jason Tatum. I don't want to see just swing it around, nobody attack the basket, because they just played a Cavs series where they didn't have Jared Allen for the entire series, essentially, and didn't attack the basket at all. Evan Mobley, I love him, but he's not huge. He's not massive. You can dunk on him, and none of them drove to the basket. They live and die by the three, and it drives me crazy. And the Pacers are going to attack the basket. They're just going to always be running. So their twos are going to mean more than normal twos because they're going to put up 140 on you. So you're going to live and die by making maybe 40% from three. I'm not confident. I'm a Celtics fan. If I see a first possession three, I'm going to be like, all right. Why are we doing this? Set a screen, get around and attack Miles. Get him in trouble with some foul trouble off the bat because he'll jump. He's a big guy down low. He'll jump. So it's like, that's what I'm worried about. And I don't want to even skip over the Pacers. They're going to steal a game or two. And we saw what they can do. They can close. And they're super deep. They're super deep. The Celtics, not as deep as the Pacers. So I would hate if I'm Tatum seeing Pascal for a while and then seeing Nesmith come off the bench for a little and then get a little, TJ McConnell for fun, a little different size on him. So I don't know.
Yeah, Griffith the nail on the head. They live and die by that 3-point shot. And honestly, the Pacers could make this a series. It's I think it'll be a 6-game series. 'Cause I think the Celtics are stupid. And I think they play money ball. They'll take 53s and they'll have a game where they make 7 of them or 10 or whatever. And they lose, right? And it's a blowout loss. And especially when that series turns over and goes back to Indiana, right? When you go play in that Rockets environment, they'll play well over there. They'll play well in front of the home fans. They'll make shots. And so it certainly has the makings of a series that on paper is boring as all hell. And I don't want to watch it, but it could get interesting quickly because the Celtics are going to make it interesting because they'll have a couple games that they play down to the competition and they'll have a couple games where they don't play as well as they should. And that is all the difference when you're talking about this series here. So yeah, I think the Pacers have to get some stops. They're not a great defensive team. You've got to get stops. If you want to run, it's better to get a rebound than take it out the net and try to push it. It's much harder to do that. You can get Al Horford all behind, running up and down the floor, trying to gas him for win. That's what you want to do. That's your key right there. And they'd be smart to get to let Kristaps Porzingis rest with his situation with the calf, right? They'd be really smart to do that as well because you don't want him having a blown tire like we saw KD have up in Toronto in the finals, right? So you got to be careful in that situation. But I think the Pacers have a puncher's chance of making it a series. The Celtics should win in 6.
All right, so that's your pick. You got Celtics in 6. Miles and Griff, what's your picks on this series?
Celtics in 5, probably. I mean, I think the Cavs. I think the Pacers should be able to win one game, and that game might be one of these first 2 games in Boston. Honestly, I mean, sometimes the Celtics have these lapses where I don't know, they don't play like the team that they should be. Like their best record by far in the league. Um, on paper, they should be the best team in the league, but yet they let the Cavs blow them out at home in a like pivotal conference semis game. So sometimes I don't understand this team. Like Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, they should be like Jordan and Pippen, honestly, but we don't get that too often. We get the watered down version way too often. So I need them to step up and really, if this is the year, like they've been saying for the last 4 years, like this is it, then sweep these boys. Like this, the Pacers aren't on their level, but the way they play can turn the tide in this series. But I still think that Celtics in 5 is a thing.
Yeah, I got Celtics, and I'm gonna call it 5.5 because those games are gonna look like an overtime. Like, holy cow, how did Indy like come back, almost win game 3? You know, it's gonna feel like it has to go 6 games because of the pace of play that the Pacers are gonna play. Wow, that was a crazy sentence. The whole time in that series, but you know what I mean. It's like Miles was saying, they just fall asleep at the wheel. They'll get up by 15, 20 and just take their hands off the gas, but you can't do that with the Pacers. They're going to come back, and you can't do that with anybody in these playoffs we've seen. And I'm already seeing the storylines. Okay, you guys beat, your first round matchup. You went to the second round. You take on the Cavs injured. You take on the Heat injured. You take on the Cavs injured. You're now about to play the 6 seed Pacers, who are like, we're 1 seed away from talking play-in tournament, guys. And they did it in the in-season tournament. The Pacers took care of business here. So, like, the Pacers have a mental leg on the Celtics where they're like, hey, we can hang with them. It's 1 game at a time. That's how we've been playing the whole season. It's 1 game at a time. So if I'm a Celtics fan, I want to sweep. I don't even want to hear about it because they need to show that this run isn't just they made it to the finals because of all these breaks. Like, they just had the easiest road out of any of these teams so far. But I don't think it's going to look like that in this series. So shout out to the Pacers if they can snag 1 or 2.
I'm gonna go against the grain right here. Put my say it with my chest. I got the Pacers in 6. I'm going with the Pacers in 6.
I love it.
I love it.
I'm going with the Pacers in 6. If it goes 7, I don't think they win it in Boston, but no Porzingis. More than likely, no Porzingis. They live and die by this 3. I can't trust them. I can't trust them. And this is the type of series where it could turn into, if it turns into high scoring, that favors the Pacers. If the Pacers are putting up anything above 110, 115, they might lose 1 game. But if they're going to keep it at that pace, like we've been saying, I'm favoring the Pacers in this series. I think Boston, we're going to have some tough conversations in the summertime. I don't believe on them. Hey, I could be wrong. Let me know. Could be wrong.
There's no way the NBA's letting this happen, though. They're coming out. They're paying everybody they need to pay. There's no way we're about to see Timberwolves Pacers in the finals and then a sweep of, like, talk about the last team the Pacers would want to see, or the Timberwolves, because they're at the same level in terms of energy. Like, we're seeing that. Like, I'm seeing stuff where it's like start, bench, cut, and they're like Ant, Luka, and Tatum, just completely disregarding Halliburton. Halliburton's was on an MVP pace for a whole while today, the whole season until he got banged up. So it's like the disrespect. I think the Pacers are seeing it. You can't. We saw LeBron James. He's like, I don't check social media. They all check it. They all see this stuff. They see the content we all produce. Not maybe us with LeBron James, but shout out Byron Scott. He's checking it out. Like they're hearing about it. So I don't know. I'm with you, Tone. I want to say that, but I don't know if I can go that far.